Hey everyone, so back with the official review of the Beelink X2. First of all, just want to mention a few things before I start with the review. I spent a week testing the device, playing some videos with it, playing some other things, upgrading the software, doing all that stuff. What I'm going to talk about throughout the whole video. One other thing I wanted to mention, you guys saw my previous video. For some reason I keep insisting on calling the Allwinner H3 processor an Amlogic H3. Of course, Allwinner is the manufacturer of the H3, and my apologies to them. Definitely didn't mean to do that intentionally. For some reason I keep saying Amlogic. Probably that same day I read about a lot of news about the upcoming processors from Amlogic, so that's why it was just stuck in my head. But anyway, I'm sorry. Of course, Allwinner H3, and let's talk about it. So hardware specs of this device, for the money, I think it's absolutely unmatchable. Between $30 and $35, depending on where you are ordering, either the US side or the straight from the Chinese side of the GearBest. Not a huge difference of the price. If you're willing to wait a little bit longer and choose the lower price, that's fine. If you're like me, if you want to get it in a week or less than a week, go ahead and order it from the US side. It's all going to be fine. So what I think about the device overall, I think it's a great device for the money. Again, I had no issues playing anything from one of my oldest files to all the way to brand new ones. Some of the versions of movies I have on my home server that I ripped off from Blu-rays are pretty high quality. I don't do one-to-one conversion because it's a huge space and I don't have that much space on my home server. I kind of play around with the settings and try to do relatively well converted quality, so I can still preserve majority of the good quality. And I'm going to show you some details on those files. But everything I have in my new movie library, which is probably around 500-600 movies, played with no problem. I had no issues whatsoever. Quite pleasing for me. The device stayed cool majority of the times, if not all the time, at least when I measured it. Even playing movies for an hour, it did not go above 45 degrees Celsius. And the hottest temperature I measured, it was on the bottom of the device, and if I pick it up right now while it's idling and measure it with my infrared thermometer right here, you will see 41, 42. So this is where the main processor is, right there in the middle, and this is the temperature I'm getting. If I go to the corner, it's a lot cooler, of course. This corner as well, that corner. So right in the middle, it's where the magic happens. And you can see 43 degrees. That's about the average that it's idling on top. If I measure it on top, it's a lot cooler everywhere, pretty much on the top. It's something between 34, 35 degrees, as you can see. Pretty cool. I'm going to measure again in front of you when I play some of the video samples I have and show you the temperature, but pretty cool. Absolutely quiet. Of course, there's no fans, there's no moving parts, so you can't hear anything, any residual noise, any noise pollution coming from the device. One thing that really bothered me, and again, I mean, not that much, but it's worth noticing. If you are planning to use it in a bedroom that is normally very dark, and then lights are bothering you in the middle of the night and stuff like that, beware that the actual LED, it's kind of bright, on the bright side. I can fix that very easily. They sell these like dimming stickers similar to what car manufacturers use for their windows, for tinting windows, so I can place it in there, dim it a little bit, and then it's going to be perfectly fine. But as of now, it doesn't bother me that much. It's just worth noticing. That's one of the things. One other, not really a negative, because I really don't care about that, The device doesn't have a Bluetooth, so you know I was aware of that when I purchased it, so it's not a surprise for me. If you're wondering and if you need Bluetooth, better you know, find another device. There's plenty of the devices that GearBest offers on a great prices. But this particular one doesn't have Bluetooth, and again, that's perfectly fine with me. So on to the rest of the things, and you can see I have a lot of media players placed in front of you. I've been using media players, media streamers for a long time. You know, even before these kind of devices were available, I was using a personal computer, you know, a PC, a desktop for media. Of course, with all those new devices, it's a lot better, a lot of energy efficient to use them for your media files, and not, you know, fire up a big, huge and noisy desktop that does the same thing basically, but these are a lot smaller and not, and of course a lot cheaper and all that. You know how it all started for me. First devices that came out actually, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. As you can see, I have the Cyclone Micro 2. That was an amazing device. It's still working perfectly well. In my opinion, plays everything up to 1080p. I haven't seen a file that, at least in my possession, that this device cannot play. It's super small. It's probably, you know, 3 times smaller than the H2 at the same time. You know, negatives, of course, it doesn't have network, it doesn't have Wi-Fi, it doesn't have all that, so it's all local play. But regardless, it's still working perfectly fine. And then, you know, I have this one. It kind of does the same thing. These were devices that were prior the use of Android and all those, and they were kind of like, you know, quote unquote dumb devices because they don't have a lot of options other than local play, and you know, plays a whole bunch of files and music and all that stuff. But you know, of course, there's no OS on those devices. Again, they're still working perfectly fine, a lot better than you know, anything that some TVs offer these days built in, but still they're not OS. And of course, I replaced them a long time ago, but again, they're still working. Of course, the made by Sony. As you can see, this one was pretty good for the time. It had wireless, it had the LAN as well, DLNA, all kinds of apps, including, you know, Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, and all that stuff. That was, again, a good device. And you can see some of the features here. Good device, still works, still pretty good, but again, it cannot match the ones that are with the OS and have, of course, Android installed on them. A much better option. One of my best purchases, probably my best purchase that I did. That's the original Fire Stick. Got it for $20 when they officially announced it last year at that time, and I was able to pre-order. So pre-orders were $20, and so for $20 you're getting a lot of things, you know, packed in this little device. I can't emphasize how great of a device this is, especially for the price, even for the full price of $40 or whatever they ask for it now. I know there's a second generation, but this first generation still works. I'm still using it as one of my TVs. I have Cody installed on that. I have, you know, a whole bunch of other apps, super easy to work with. Bluetooth remote, absolutely great. And again, $20, the best purchase I ever made. And this is my main device, actually. Let me pull it out right here. I got a year ago, about a year ago, and I'm using it in my living room. The Minix Neo X8H. That's not the Plus device that featured the newer Amlogic S12. This is the one that has the Amlogic S802. I think, yeah, it's 802. Of course, quad core, 2 GHz. You know, all the rest of the specs are awesome. Octa-core Mali 450, 2 gigs of RAM, 16 of eMMC. You know, has the LAN, has everything else that I need. You know, HDMI 1.4. B, that it supports 4K up to 30 frames per second. This is my main driver in my living room. Love that device, but of course a lot more expensive than anything else. It cost me about $150. So definitely a lot more expensive than all the normal other ones, like you can see here, and of course the devices that are coming straight from GearBest and other sites in China. X2, a lot cheaper. I mean, $33 versus $150. I could have bought 5 of these and use them in every room, and pretty much does the same work. I mean, you know, I didn't see any problems with this device. I don't have any problems with any of the other devices as well. But you know, just worth mentioning. And actually, this is let me open this box. And this was my main driver for a long time. Before I actually got the Minix, before I got the Fire TV, that was my first Android-based device. And you can see it's Android on stick, which I just dropped. Luckily, there's no moving parts, so it's not gonna break. But yeah, this is the Ricoh Magic MK8023 dual core, 1.6 gigahertz per processor. Again, pretty amazing little device. I've used it for like 3 years, and I can't be happier. It's still working great. Still provides enough power to play every movie, every device, and every file that I pretty much have on my home server without any problems. Why am I replacing it? I recently upgraded the software, then I had some problems, then I had to revert back, and while I was doing all that, I was like, hey, why am I not just go and get another one, you know, like this one, to kind of replace that and then use that in another TV that I have around the house, or, you know, have it with me when I travel somewhere. Perfect device for that purpose, by the way. So yeah, that's what I did. And having everything else, like LAN and up-to-date software. By the way, this is running Jelly Bean, not KitKat. Up-to-date software, anything else helps a lot. And of course, I don't have to attach, you know, LAN to the USB like on this one with the hub and, you know, all that stuff. Having all that on a new device definitely helps a lot. So yeah, that's for the quick overview, or not that quick overview. Let me jump into the actual review, show you a few things. One thing I wanted to say, I really apologize about not having a capturing device at the moment, so I'm gonna have to show you my screen, but please bear with me. I have a few things to show you and talk about, so hopefully you guys gonna like that, and I promise in some of my future videos I'm gonna get me a capturing device and show you a little bit more quality. But yeah, let me just pause that and I'm gonna be back in a second. Alright, starting from the beginning, I'm gonna show you real quick a few things on the interface of the X2, and what I'm using is actually the Logitech K400 wireless keyboard and mouse combo. Very useful for these kind of devices, so if you guys plan to get any of those, make sure to grab a device like that. These run about $20, so it's not expensive, and they work great. So this is the main page, minus a few apps that I added here. As you can see, Cody I pulled out on the desktop. It comes pre-installed with Cody 4.2 with a lot of extensions already installed by the manufacturer. And Arcos, this is another alternative to Cody. Not as powerful as Cody, but I've used it in a long time. I purchased that program, this app, probably 3-4 years ago, so it's been working great for me. These are some standard apps. They have the file manager settings, the Play Store. Of course, Play Store is installed already. Let me quickly go to the settings and show you what it's all about. Of course, Ethernet, I'm connected. We have the display, we have HDMI, currently running at 1080p 60 Hz. This is what my monitor is. And as you can see, there's an option for 4K at 30 Hz or 30 frames per second. Storage, this is what we have. So the total available after the software is installed, about 5.5 gigs. Right now I have 3.8 available because I have installed a few applications already. The supported SD cards, micro SD cards. The site, GearBest site, claims that it's up to 32 gigs, but I have tried 64 and it's working fine. Actually, let me pull that out and try it right in front of you guys when I'm filming this video. And as you can see, this is what I have right there, 64 gigs SanDisk, class 10 of course. And let me put it to the side and see if the device is going to recognize it real quick. Kind of a pain to put it on, but hey, there you go. It was recognized right away. As you can see, 59.46 gigabytes of storage mounted, no problem whatsoever. Unfortunately, I don't have 128 gigs, so I would have tried that as well and showed it to you guys, but 64 is supported with no problem. Of course, anything underneath 32, 16, all that is supported as well. What else I can show you here about the box? As you can see, running on Android 4.2, KitKat of course, and the build date of this specific ROM, as you can see right here, is November 5th of this year, so just a few weeks old. Like I mentioned before, there's a great community on the Freak tab. People are working on this box a lot, and they are delivering new updates, improving stuff, so you're going to be staying up to date for a while with this box, so don't be afraid about that as well. So let's go back to the home. I'm going to pull that app drawer and see what we have. We have some pre-installed and some installed from me applications. Let's go straight into the Antutu and show you a little bit of the details on that machine. By the way, I ran the test earlier and it scored 27,000. So kind of a okay average, but again, you really don't care about the numbers as long as it plays all your files without any problems, and that's the case for me. So you can see here we have a quad-core processor, the screen 1080p, Mali 400 like I mentioned before. Total RAM is 1 gig available. We have half of it, even more than half of it. So yeah, 480 hertz to 1.2 gigahertz. This is the operational frequency of the processor. 4 cores right here, 32-bit. You can see currently 3 working. 1 is in sleep out of the 4. CPU load 20%, 12%. So that's all good in my book. Everything works fine with no problem. Ranking, if we look here, unfortunately didn't store my score, but regardless, there's going to take a long time if I run it again, but you know, I'm sorry, you gotta trust me on this one. It scored 27,000, and I might be post an image at the end of this video. Let's go back out the main, see what else we have. So CPUs, that again I can run and show you the processor. As you can see, Allwinner H3, or that's the actual model name is H3. So 1.2 gigahertz. Some devices I've seen with the same processor running 1.5, 1.4. So it all depends on the OEM. The frequency will vary, but this specific one has 1.2. As you can see, again 480 to 1.2. Mali 400 running at 600 megahertz. And again, a little bit more information here on the screen resolution. Right here, a little bit more with the device build and all that. And yeah, that's about it with this one. What else I can show you here? Of course, Cody. Yeah, most of you are going to be buying this for Cody, but before Cody, let me run a quick speed test. And this is the speed test. I'm currently connected with LAN straight to my router, and this is how I'm actually intending to use that and using all my devices. I don't use wireless in my house. Wired is a lot better, you know, obviously, but let me hit the test real quick and see what kind of scores we're gonna get. So yeah, normally that's about the top range of the 100 megabits LAN. You know, 91, 92, I've seen 95, so this is about normal. My maximum speed test that I've done in my desktops about 130, 120, 130. So with, of course, gigabit LANs, and this is pretty respectable here. So yeah, let me jump in real quick to Cody and show you the interface. And as you can see, everything loads up pretty quick. Everything is pretty fast. This is how Cody looks like. As you can see here at the bottom, they have installed already Genesis, NaviX, and a few other extensions. This is Cody 14.2, and if I go back here, as you can see, my movie library. If I hit the tile, everything is gonna load for a second. Currently is updating the library. This is how I've set it up to update once I open the app, but these are all my my movies right here. As you can see, this is not pre-cached. I'm doing it on the fly, and updates the UI and everything, and shows the art of the movie and all that. So let me go back real quick and show you the system information through Cody, and there you go. We have free memory about 350 megabytes. The CPU usage is about 20 to 30%. Again, running pretty good on this hardware. Cody is just flying here, no problem whatsoever. As you can see, going through the menus and playing some movies and all that. Unfortunately, I cannot play any kind of movies that are, you know, sort of protected by DRMs and all that, but Tears of Steel, I can play that. Let me quickly go to these files and see if I can play any of those movies. So as you can see here, I got some 4K samples. I got Tears of Steel on full HD, so Big Buck Bunny. Let's see if that's gonna play. Some of these are actually highly demanding titles, and they're pretty hardware consuming. But let me see. There you go. The status. I hope the camera focuses. Some dropped frames, but the CPU stays about 60-70%. I mean, here you can see it go up to 100. Overall, it plays pretty good. I mean, I don't see any problems for like stuttering or anything like that. So, in my opinion, everything is fine. Plus, all my files are not as high quality as these. So, you know, everything is playing perfectly fine in my on my side. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Sorry again, I didn't have any capturing devices at the moment in my possession, so I can show you much higher quality of the interface and all that, but I hope you were able to get a little bit of better perspective on how everything works. And again, I promise to fix that problem in the future and give you a little bit more quality, but again, highly recommend that device. $30 to $35 buys you a lot. For those of you that are on budget, those of you that don't like to spend a lot of money on these kind of devices and kind of play around, you head over to GearBest and order one. If you live in the United States, order it from the US warehouse, and it's going to be at your door for about a week, so you can enjoy it. That's it. Again, thanks everybody for your support. Stay tuned to the channel. There will be a lot more to come, a lot more unboxings and tests of all kinds of media devices and hardware. So again, thank you guys, and you have a wonderful day.